You've probably seen it happen, right? That one relationship that seems to break all the rules of dating, and yet it's the one that ends in marriage. Well, today, we're getting into Sherry Argo's super provocative bestseller that completely flips the script on all that traditional dating advice. Let's break down the book that claims it knows exactly why men marry bitches.
Okay, let's just start right here, because this quote, this is basically the entire book in a nutshell. It's that question you might have heard whispered at a wedding or two, right? And Argov just tackles it head on, turning this whole social puzzle into a full-blown dating philosophy. All right, so before we go any further, we absolutely have to get on the same page about the book's definition of the word bitch. It's totally tongue-in-cheek. Argov isn't talking about being cruel or nasty. Nope. She's completely redefining it to describe a woman who is strong, who is independent, and who has way too much self-respect to let anyone walk all over her.
So what's the big problem this philosophy is trying to solve? Well, according to the book, it's all about something the author calls the nice girl trap. This is a pattern of behavior that, so many women are taught is the right way to find a husband, but it often completely backfires.
And here's the heart of that problem. The book argues that all that conventional wisdom, be nice, be accommodating, always put him first, can actually make a woman seem less desirable. Instead of earning love and respect, she ends up being seen as, well, a doormat, someone who's just taken for granted because she's always there and always agrees to everything.
You can really see the massive difference between the two mindsets here. The nice girl is completely focused on the outside. She's looking for his approval, bending over backwards, putting her own needs dead last. Her whole world revolves around his validation. But the bitch mindset, it flips that completely. It's all about looking inward, asking, hey, what's in this for me? It's about knowing her own mind and being perfectly happy with or without him. It's a huge shift from seeking approval to commanding respect.
Okay, so let's add another layer to this. The book complicates things by introducing this idea that men often, maybe subconsciously, test women. And this can create a total minefield for the nice girl who has no idea what's happening. So why on earth would they do this? Well, the book suggests it's a way for a man to figure out a woman's level of self-respect and her emotional control. He kind of wants to know who he's really dealing with when that nice mask comes off, and he wants to see if she can hold her own. What's super interesting is how the book breaks these vague tests down into 4 really specific actions it calls female buttons. It claims men will push these buttons, by trying to make you jealous, or suddenly pulling back on calls and texts, or pushing boundaries, all just to see how you'll react when you're under pressure. And here's the kicker. According to Argov, if you react emotionally, you've basically failed the test. That emotional reaction is seen as a reward, even if it's negative attention, because it shows him he has control over your feelings. And that just reinforces the behavior, so the whole cycle starts all over again.
Okay, so if that's the problem, and that's the complication, what's the solution? This brings us to the core of the book, adopting what it calls the bitch philosophy. It's really presented as the direct antidote to being taken for granted.
So what does this philosophy actually look like? Well, first, it's financial independence, so he knows you're with him for him, not for his bank account. Second, it's having your own life, so you're always a bit of a mental challenge. And maybe most importantly, it's about having a backbone and truly valuing yourself, which the author claims is the absolute key to earning a man's genuine, lasting respect. The book uses this quote from Tim McGraw talking about his wife, Faith Hill, to really hammer this point home. I mean, think about it. What does he highlight? It's not her beauty or her fame, it's her strength, her backbone, the fact that she's a straight shooter. According to the author, this is the quality that men respect the most and find absolutely irresistible in a life partner.
All right, let's bring it all home. How does this whole philosophy lead to the book's ultimate promise, turning a maybe situation into a full-on, committed marriage by totally changing the power dynamic?
This is a really important distinction the book makes. The fear isn't about commitment itself. It's about being trapped by a needy woman who's just trying to fill a husband slot. So the goal isn't to pressure him into it. The goal is to inspire him, to make him see marrying you as this incredible prize that he wants to win all on his own. So how do you actually do that? The book lays out this super clear 4-step game plan for having the talk. And notice how unemotional and strategic it is. It's all about calmly stating your needs, keeping a poker face, and then creating space if those needs aren't being met. You let him realize what he's about to lose. It's basically a negotiation from a position of strength, not some tearful, desperate plea.
And that brings us to what is, without a doubt, the most critical takeaway from this entire philosophy. For any of this to actually work, you can't be bluffing. The power,
All of it comes from your genuine willingness to walk away if the relationship doesn't meet your standards. Your self-respect has to be more important than the relationship itself. Period.
So, we'll end on the book's rewritten fairy tale ending. The princess isn't sitting in a tower waiting for some prince to come rescue her. No way. She's out there getting her own horse. She's inviting him to join her adventure, not waiting around for him to start hers. A pretty provocative and powerful image to leave you with, right?